Well, the long-awaited and oft-attempted copyright law is back in the House of Commons and heading off for a rubber stamp in the Senate very shortly. Heritage Minister James Moore joins me to discuss sort of the final pit stop on a very long drive to finally getting approval. Welcome to the program, Mr. Moore.
21 years since it was last amended, so we're very happy to be in the home stretch.
21. Were you even born when that was last amended, James?
Just, yes.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what was in it. There were some amendments proposed that you rejected. One that sort of struck me was the ability to, say, buy an e-book and then copy it for personal use, that I own, and copy it for personal use. There was an amendment that said, yeah, that should be allowed. You said no. Why?
Well, we wanted to protect the digital lock provisions, and what that is essentially, it's part of the WIPO treaties, the international treaties that Canada has signed that needs to implement. But essentially, what it allows is those who have created content, if they want to protect them, to protect them in the ways that they choose. We do allow for the bill is itself technologically neutral, so we do have some expanded fair dealing provisions, and we do believe that people should be able to transfer what they've bought onto the devices that they choose, so long as they're not breaking a digital lock. That's essential. I mean, CTV, you have digital locks, and you use digital locks yourselves because you know that it's very important. For example, if you watch American Idol on CTV, well, if you watch it on, for example, on an iPad app, you can't download it onto your iPad and watch it when you want. You have to watch it streaming. You have to watch it in a certain format. And when the commercials come on, you can't fast forward through it. That's a digital lock. It's essential to CTV because that's how you make money. That's how you stay in business. So digital locks are critical for business models that are existing right now. And if people don't like digital locks, they can avoid them, not buy them, let market forces work. But we think that those who are spending millions of dollars, thousands of dollars sometimes in some of the small software ventures, if you're investing that money into your product, if you want to protect yourself, you should be able to protect yourself in the way that you choose and engage the marketplace.
I'm just shocked people can't fast forward through this show if they want to.
Why would anybody
I'm
even
sure they want to.
Why would that even pass their mind on? I couldn't imagine.
All right, I want to quickly talk about another thing that was brought up was the idea, and you'll have to explain this to me because I didn't understand it, but there was some concern by people with visual handicaps that somehow they wouldn't be able to pass something to have access to material in Braille and that sort of thing. What's that all about?
Well, those are perceptually impaired, that they want to make sure that they have access to what it is that they've purchased in the way in which that they choose. And so we've put forward some amendments to make sure that they've been satisfied. The Canadian National Institute for the Blind put forward some amendments that we've agreed with. We amended the bill, and they're, I think, very satisfied with the bill. It does go to the Senate now. You said in the start it's a rubber stamp, but no, when it goes towards the Senate, we'll have an opportunity again to re-explain the legislation, to allay any concerns that people have and move forward.
If you were talking to somebody on the street with their iPad in one hand and their iPod in the other, and you were trying to explain to them what would be different under their lives after this goes through, what would be the difference?
Certainty that, because right now a lot of people say, well, I've purchased a song and I have it on my iPod, but can I put it also on my iPad? Can I also watch it on my laptop? Yes, you can. You're free to use the content that you've purchased in the way that you choose. This is a pro-consumer legislation, of course, provided that you don't hack into it and break the locks that may be in place. But this is about making sure that consumers know that they're not breaking the law if they want to consume the information that they've purchased and the entertainment that they've purchased in the way that they want to. On the other side, we say to those who are investing into Canada's creative economies or digital economies that you have a right to protect yourself, that piracy is illegal in Canada, and even those who enable piracy and theft in Canada are going to be it's now an illegal activity, and they face punishments.
Okay, and another totally different matter. You're Heritage Minister. You've shown a tendency to protect Canadian historical artifacts. The MAUD, Ronald Amundsen's explorer ship that sailed into Cambridge Bay 95 years ago, sunk. It's there. Now Norway says, we want it back, we want to refloat it and take it back. What's your view on that? Should they be allowed to take it home, or should they leave it here as a historical artifact for Canada?
Well, the Cultural Property Export Review Board, long name but important job, what they've done is they're having hearings right now. They had hearings again today. And there's actually a split, different opinions on this. There are those in Cambridge Bay and in Nunavut who would like to see the ship stay where it is because it's a tourist attraction. There are some as well who would like to see the ship raised and actually in a suburb of Oslo where it will be properly maintained and sustained and the story properly told, and to have that capacity. So while some want it kept there, in the years ahead it will degrade and fall apart, and the history of it will be entirely lost. There are those who think exporting it to Norway with some kind of an agreement of access and capacity to tell the story from both the Norwegian and Canadian perspective actually might be a better way to honor our past. But there's a debate. It's a legit debate about how we best recognize our history, and the board will make a decision, and we'll consider.
You don't have an opinion either way?
I see the merits of both, and I'll wait to hear what the board recommends.
You've got a future in the diplomacy corps, James. All right. Thanks very much for joining us. Appreciate it.